Hi, I'm Darlene Speer. My ancestors I have been doing years of work on, and I want to share them with you. This first story that I'm going to read to you was actually written by my cousin, Levon. And it's about when my dad and her dad and our Uncle Howard were teenagers and little devils. And it's on Halloween. I think I'll just open this up. Oopie, there we go. And I can hold it up at a proper angle. Okay, it's called Halloween in Forestville, told by Levon Speer Covington. I'm going to tell this story as it was told to me by my grandmother, Maud Speer. When I was a small girl and later by my father, James Speer Jr. I'm backing it up with original newspaper clipping. Unfortunately, the year isn't printed on it, but it was in the early 1920s. It was Halloween night. Whoopsies, lost it. And my uncles, Howard and Paul Speer, were down at the Forestville Grammar School with a group of local boys, wondering what Halloween pranks they could pull. Uncle Paul that's my dad, was always instigating something even when it wasn't Halloween. The Kimes lived across the street from the school and had several girls. Mr. Kimes just happened to be a deputy sheriff. The boys decided it would be fun to take a pair of the girls' underwear off their clothesline and hoist it up the school flagpole. Sounds like fun. This is exactly what they did. At some point, Mr. Kimes realized what was going on and fired a few rounds from his shotgun into the crowd of boys. Uncle Howard got pelted in the back, and Uncle Paul got some in his hand and leg. She put leg, he got it in his butt. Anyway, probably got some in his leg too. Someone ran uptown to the card room where my father James was playing cards and told him that Mr. Kimes had shot his brothers. My father ran down to Mr. Kimes' house and knocked on his door. Mr. Kimes came to the door with gun in hand. And my dad asked why he shot his brothers. And Mr. Kimes aimed the gun at my dad and fired. Fortunately, the gun was unloaded, but he then turned the gun around and hit my dad further over the head with the butt of the gun. This put a big gash on my father's head above his eye. At this point, the boys went home, and Grandpa loaded them up and went into Santa Rosa to the sheriff's department and filed a complaint against Mr. Kimes. See the news clipping. Sheriff took pictures of my father and Uncle Howard. Grandma Speer gave me my father's picture. I have no idea where the picture of Uncle Howard's back is. Last time I saw it, it was in a drawer in the desk that Grandma kept in the parlor. I have my father's picture hanging on my wall, and it makes a great conversation piece. And here it is. Can you see that through the camera?
Yes.
Okay. And then down here is the newspaper thing. 4 Halloween youths shot, officer held. Pranks cost deputy sheriff to fire at Sonoma County group, boys peppered with birdshot. Santa Rosa, oops, this is really small print. Santa Rosa, new November 1st, angered at the Halloween pranks of a group of boys who he said had disturbed the town of Forestville, 15 miles west of here, for 2 nights. The reports Sheriff Al Kimes last night fired a load of buckshot into the group. peppering 4 of the boys. The injured were the injured boys were Howard and Paul Speer, Claude Russell, and Joe Amart. Howard Speer was the most seriously injured. One of the shots incurred behind the ear, penetrating behind the ear. The fleshy proportion of the legs, while he kept the physician busy forever as a hour picking out the pellets. Officer arrested. After the shooting, James Speer, a brother of the 2 injured boys, approached the officer demanding to know the reason for the attack. And according to Kimes, young Speer made a lunge at him, whereupon he is said to have knocked him to the ground with the blow from his gun. Kimes was arrested and made a statement to the assistant district attorney, H. Churchill, in which he said he had intended to fire over the heads of the boys, who were in turn down in a basketball pole and upturned in the automatic school.